Welcome back to the channel, guys. Cassandra here. Let's talk about the Panasonic Gh5 II. And yes, if you're like me, this information caught me by surprise because I thought that right now we may be talking about the Panasonic Gh6, a camera that was rumored to do 8K video recording up to 30p, 10-bit 4:2. But Nakashita Japan, throws us off with some information that we're going to be sharing right now. We're also going to be talking about how this camera is even relevant in 2021. All that information coming right up. And welcome back to the channel, guys. And if you're new to this place, first of all, like I said, welcome. I do gear reviews, tutorials, behind the scene, and I also been covering a lot of rumors like this one. So if you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing to the channel. Also enable notifications, and let's talk about the Panasonic Gh5 II. Now, Nakashita Japan tells us that the camera that we are going to see from Panasonic this year first is going to be the Gh5 II, and he's been pretty spot on with all the leaks recently. Now, how does this camera make sense in 2021 is question number one. But first of all, we need to understand what the Gh5 actually stands for, because when that camera was launched in 2017, it offered a lot of features that no other camera, could match. Now, the camera also was $2,000 in 2017. $2,000 was a lot of money to pay for a camera. I mean, it still is right now, but back then was, at least to me, it was very expensive. So right now you can actually go and get one right now, brand new, for $1,300. And I recently sold mine for $1,000. So let's talk about some of the features. Well, first of all, that camera has dual card slot, which is actually something that a lot of people, appreciated at that time. The camera also, had 4K up to 30p, 10-bit 4:2. And in 2017, there was no other camera that could actually even match that camera. And grading, 10-bit of the Fuji was actually a breeze. And I've been doing all the videos, in 2017 and up to 2019 with a Gh5, alone. So if you want to watch some of the quality of videos, you can go to some of the older videos. But once again, the Gh5 is still a great camera right now, especially if you own, a lot of, Micro Four Third glass and your budget is at around $1,300, because you're not going to be able to go anywhere else for that kind of cash. But however, Nakashita is saying that we are going to see some minor improvements in this camera. And what kind of minor improvements we can see, if this camera is not going to be the Gh6? Well, one of the things that Nakashita is saying is that the EVF and the screen may be actually higher resolution. And he doesn't go in describing more of the specs of the camera. But I'm assuming that one of the things that we could see in this camera, potentially, is that now we can have 4K up to 60p and 50p at 10-bit 4:2, because the original Gh5 only does it at 8-bit. So with the Panasonic Gh5, you have 4K up to 30p and 10-bit 4:2, but then if you want faster frame rates, you drop to 8-bit. Now, the only reason that I see this camera making sense in 2021 is if you already owned, a lot of Micro Four Third glass and you wanted to get in some of the faster frame rates and you don't want to go buy a new system, new glass, and the whole 9 yards. Now, Nakashita reveals that this camera is going to be at around $1,700. And this is where I have a little bit of an issue with that price, because if you have $1,700 today to spend on your very first mirrorless camera or upgrading from something inferior, well, right now you can actually go with a Fuji X-T4, a camera that also features 4K video up to 60p, 10-bit 4:2, and in my opinion, is going to be a better solution. Number one, because we're talking about an APS-C sensor, much larger sensor, so you're going to be able to enjoy, better background separation, shallower depth of field, and the whole 9 yards that you get from a bigger sensor. The other reason is because a Micro Four Third system, we have seen it. Olympus is out of the picture, and chances are that, Panasonic themselves are not going to continue making Micro Four Third cameras, anymore. So why would Panasonic give us this camera rather than giving us the Panasonic Gh6? Well, in my opinion, is that probably Panasonic is not going to release the Gh6. Maybe this is going to be the last, Micro Four Third camera from Panasonic, and they're going to continue developing, the full frame cameras, if they are still going to continue to do video cameras at all. So this is what I think, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? We haven't heard much about this rumor. this is pretty much all what we know. We know that this camera is going to be dropping sometime in 2021. So as we hear more information, we're going to be sharing with you guys, dissecting it, and present it to you. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.